just got to Dongguan right now with our Packing Duck team. We're going to visit one of our partner that manufactures metal tin box. Let's go take a look. So right now I'm with one of our partner factory who makes a lot of our bags. They make the resealable bags, aluminum bags, poly bags, and I'm going to show you their manufacturing process in this building here. So the film that we saw getting made downstairs in every one of those levels, from the initial color print to the glue, ultimately comes back up here, where it gets made into the final assembly version. This is the machine that cuts the film and creates them into individual bags. And this right here that you can see is the final product. We saw the first step of the film, where the colors are made, the print, where it gets glued into individual bags, where the tips are added on, and that is how it's finally delivered to the clients. So today I'm here with my team with one of our factory partners here in Dongguan. And the reason for this visit is to check out their production capabilities, their screen printing capabilities, and also take a look at some of their samples, many of which we manage. I really like this factory because they've been in business for about 20 years now. We've had a really good relationship with the factory owners, and they've been very, very supportive of all of our business over the last few years. One of the things that I look at when I consider factory partners is how much do they care? You know, at the end of the day, production, it's all about machines, it's all about the material that they use, but the last touch that really makes a difference is how much do they care? Do they care about the defects? Do they care about the quality? Do you care about consistency? And this is one of the most consistent factories that we've worked with over the last few years. Before it becomes the shape of the bottle that you see from, you know, the normal shelves, it actually starts with like a little capsule like this, a plastic capsule, right? Then it gets put into that machine right here, that little assembly line, and it goes through a heating. So come see, this capsule gets heated up in that area, right? It goes through the rotating belt, gets heated, and then the mold is inside this thing right here. Then it gets blown into the shape that you see right here. And that's how you create the finished product. So when you're making plastic components, you need to create a metal mold so that the glass gets blown into the shape. So the molds looks like something like this, right? Typically you think that molds are, you know, something that's very easy, something very cheap, but when you try to get a quote for a mold, they tell you it's really, really expensive. And the reason for that is because it's a really heavy component. Like this is at least maybe 30, 40 pounds right here. They create a shape, right? They first 3D model it, and then they have to carve out the shape of the glass. And here's the point right here. When a plastic gets put into the shape, air gets blown into this cavity, which creates the shape of the bottle right here. Same thing with this capsule right here, this paint capsule. It's really hard right now. You can't really bend it into any shape. So this lady here will put it onto this rotating belt, and it goes through a rotating belt that gets heated up and soften this material right here. So walk with me here. Come. You can see the heating belt. It heats up the capsule, makes it softer, and then you can look right here. Here's a mold that basically heats up our capsules and blows air into the capsules where it fits the shape of the final bottle. See right here? And if you look at right here, this is a final bottle right here. So what we're making here is the lid for the skincare bottle component. The raw material gets put into this giant blue funnel right here. It usually comes in plastic bead. So the beads get set in there, right? Gets heated up through this machine, and then it goes through this mold. If you look at this mold, it kind of looks like an engine, right? It looks like there's 8 cylinders, and the reason for that is because the mold is made in one single mold to create 8 different lids, not 8 different lids, sorry, 8 of the same lids. And so once it gets heated up and the cap gets formed, a machine with the suction cup of 8 different slots goes in there, sucks it up, and brings it up. You're gonna see it right here. It gets brought over here, and the excess stuff gets dropped right here. This thing gets put right here. Pressure gets released around this point, and it goes down the assembly line. So what we're seeing here is the assembly line of this particular capsule. The lid, and there's an inner component and an outer component. And you spread it out, it's almost like this, right? Lid, inner component, outer component. The first machine was making the lid. The second machine is putting together the outer case and the inner case. The inner case was made here. I skip a step, but inner case, lid, outer case, and that machine right here puts the pressure on the case, on the jar, to seal it in. So right now it's just disassembled, but that machine right there, push it down to create this thing. So right here to my right is a automatic silk screen printing machine. So come with me there. It first starts with a blank bottle that you can see right here, or you can see from this machine. It comes as a blank bottle. Then it goes through this machine right here. And traditionally this process is done by hand. So someone's usually scraping the ink onto the bottle one by one. But now we have this machine that automatically does it. So come with me here. See this machine? Every part of this machine is to print a particular part of the bottle, and this is all configured on the back end through the computer. So like for instance, that part might be to treat the surface of the bottle. This part is to create the gold foil effect right here. To see gold foil, the shiny gold foil effect through this belt. And then once you come through here a little bit more, you're gonna see them printing even more words, nutritional facts, whatever it may be, onto that bottle. And traditionally, like I said, this was done by hand. Someone was scraping this back and forth every single time. But on this machine, the bottle is configured with the machine to rotate at a certain angle so that a particular position is printed on with this silk screen printing technique. And then, once you go through the belt and have all the positions printed out, it comes with the final product, which our workers are inspecting one by one to see if there's any defects. Then it goes through this process right here to be sealed and packed for delivery. Alright guys, so we're now en route to one of our factory partners, Mr. Dongguan. He has been a major help for us this year in terms of our paper packaging. Some of our biggest clients today are going through his factories. This is my first time meeting him in person actually. We've been meeting through Zoom for the last 2 months ever since we started this company. And so I'm very excited to meet him. We're gonna go through his manufacturing process. I'll show you how they do the silk screen printing, how they do the die cutting. I'll show you how plates are made. The entire process of making a paper packaging from start to finish, you're gonna see it today. After this, we're gonna go to our other factory partner, but not for packaging. This is one of the projects I'm working on. I'll try to see what I can show, some of the things I can't show yet, but it's a diffuser project I'm working on that I'm super excited for it to launch soon. Today is our last day in Shenzhen. It's been super fun, extremely tiring to be traveling between all these different cities in the last few days, but I'm very happy that we were extremely productive. I have a very good team around me, so stay tuned. We're gonna go to the factory soon. plates are basically plates that cut out the shape for the paper goods. So whenever papers are printed, they're in a giant sheet, right? These plates are cut in a shape that can basically extract the precise shape that you need to create the 3D structure. So I'm gonna ask them how it's made and show you guys the entire process. You see how that paper just comes right off because of the plate inside of the machine just stamps it every few seconds, or every second, or even less than a second. And when you pull it out, the bridges or the folders comes out like this to create the final product, something like that. Let me show you right here. And for this one, it's just an instruction manual. So you got folded like, this way, or this way, so, or this way, something like that, right? But the only way you're able to do this for this large amount of sheets is by cutting them in individual pieces through a side cutting plate. So the machine that you're seeing here, the only purpose for it is to apply a thin layer of film on the surface of the box, basically to treat it for heat of printing, or heat of any other effect that you see on the surface. So come right here, you see a stack of paper, and inside there's a suction cup that pulls the paper up and puts it onto this rotating belt, right? And then it starts rolling in, and on the top there's a thin layer of transparent film. It's not very apparent when it's applied, but there's actually a film on most of the packaging that you have on hand. And that's mostly to protect it, to make it look better. There's many different purposes for that. So come with me here. Once the film is applied, it goes through this process. So for this one, it looks like it's a matte or soft touch finish, which when you touch it, it feels very premium, feels very luxurious. Then it goes through this cell here for the final stack, right? This is where they start pressing it, heating it up, and making sure that it stays on top of each other. The final step here is really simple. It's just stacking the paper on top of each other, and an employee will use a forklift, bring that up, and put it into place at one of the storage locations on the side. So for gold foil print effect, if you've ever seen that on packaging before, it looks something like this. Most people actually don't know there's a couple variations of that. There's a flat effect where there's no protruding or intruding effect. This one that you see here is actually a 3D effect. It's a protruding effect. I'm not sure if you can see like the surface right here, but when you brush your fingers across it, there's a little funk. And we saw that previously there's a template or a mold that they use where they create that cavity. So those gold foils and sit into that cavity and gets printed on top here for the protruding effect. This one right here is not a protruding effect. This one is an intruding effect. It's really hard to see through the corner, so when you put your finger through it, you can see that it indents in. This one protrudes out, this one indents in, and this one's flat effect. So there's 3 effects on the paper alone. Like I was telling you earlier, the protruding effect, the 3D effect, is some by plate that looks something like this. So if you sit this closely, you can see there's cavities in the design where the gold foil seeps through to create that final 3D effect. Right here, you can see these are silver foil, these are gold foil. The machine that we were just looking at heats it up, melts it into place, and then prints it onto the packaging. Pretty awesome stuff. It makes your packaging look so much more luxurious. See here is some of our electronic cigarette customers. They need a UV treatment on the print effect. So this is a UV machine. That wasn't it. So how it works is a thin layer of film is applied onto a surface of the paper. So that surface paper is untreated right now. It goes through a film right here, and under UV light on this step, it cures the ink on that film to create that UV effect. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Take a look at this. So the rest of the paper is untreated, but this thing right here is UV cured. So I'm going to shine it under light. One area is shinier than the other because it is UV treated. Oh yeah, see? Boom. Alright guys, we just finished talking to Mr. Duan at his factory, now heading to lunch with one of our factories. Super excited day. It's our last day here in Shenzhen. We're going to see some of our most valuable partners that we've had working for the last few months. You can see everyone in the back behind me right here. Phoebe, who's been running my content for the last little while, she's done a really good job. Anyways, signing off right now for now. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.